Hello, you join me at Adamstown Station in Newcastle, stuck behind a container train heading into Broadmeadow Yard. I've come all the way to Newcastle to go for a bike ride. That may seem a bit crazy at first, but this is no ordinary bike path. Today I'll be taking you down the Fernley Track, built on the trackbed of the abandoned Belmont railway line. As I ride down to Belmont, I'll point out some of the line's history and some other things you might find interesting. The line starts here at Adamstown, with its platform being on the upside of the current Platform 1. The path here runs on the side of the road adjacent to the station. The first part of the line opened in 1892 for coal traffic from the many mines in the area. Passenger service existed in bits and pieces, but only started properly in 1916, when the line was finally extended to Belmont. Old crossing gates have been kept at many of the old level crossings, including here across Park Avenue. This is where we join the actual railway alignment, and it's 1 in 40 climb towards the Fernley Tunnel. You'll see some wayfinding signs are designed to imitate old semaphores. We'll see some actual signs later on. Now we cross an unnamed road on what should really be a priority raised crossing, but oh well. And the old gates, and even the old rails are still clearly visible. You can also see the old signal telegraph poles. After the crossing, the line curves to align with the B63 dual carriageway briefly. You can see an old landmark sign for trains approaching Adamstown. In this area, an attempt was made to duplicate the line, but it never was, and you can see the widened corridor with what was probably the main line now on our right hand side. The road climbs up and away from the line, with the hills here showing how challenging the geography would have been to build a railway through. We now reach the Summit Tunnel, cutting underneath Adamstown Heights. This tunnel is great fun to ride through, particularly coming downhill towards Adamstown, and it's amazing to see such old engineering being able to continue to serve a role in today's world. On the left, we pass an old half-kilometre post. We're now on the site of the Fernley Loop, with the path running over what might have been the down loop and the remains of the signal box off to the left. It seems fat bikes are very prevalent in Newcastle. I have doubts to the compliance of many of the bikes that I saw. On one hand, it's good that kids can get out independently, but on the flip side, these bikes are heavy and fast and often built pretty cheaply. We really do need some tougher national regulations on e-bikes, but that's a different story. Through this bit of bush, the line flattens out quite a bit. You'll see all sorts of impressive cuttings and embankments, aiding in keeping the gradients shallow through here. Arrive at the only signalised crossing, over Burwood Road. The timings are normally pretty good here, because it's a mid-block intersection. Immediately after the crossing is the first station of the line. Kahiba or Kahiba? I'm not sure. None of the station remains, unfortunately, only the sign, which I doubt is original. We jump back into the bush here, alongside Tin Hair Creek. Soon we arrive at Burwood. This was the site of an old colliery and was a junction with the branch to Dudley and its colliery. That line is also long abandoned, but its alignment can clearly be seen on satellite imagery. On the right are the remains of the Dudley Junction signal box. The two lines run alongside for a little while, and the path jumps over the Dudley branch on a very bumpy wooden bridge. The Dudley branch now curves off to the left through what is now a park. Just after the junction, we pass the 5-kilometre post. I'm not sure if these are original or replicas. References to the line use kilometrage from Central, but the posts measure it from Adamstown. It's possible they've been either painted over or replaced entirely to be more useful to people using the path from a wayfinding perspective. We pass another landmark board and an old ganger's shed, then pass through Whitebridge Station, which has a platform in pretty good condition, but it's not original. The actual platform was 160 metres long. This is the highest point on the line, and we now begin a 1 in 40 descent down to the next station. To give the line a manageable gradient, there are a series of fairly tight bends, for a railway at least. Just before leaving Whitebridge completely, the path slews over once again to reveal the running line. I don't believe there was a loop here, so why they did this, I'm not sure. There's a little connection here up to Oakdale Road, but I can't imagine it gets much use. We finally arrive at Redhead Station. Aside from having a fantastic name, it's the largest station on the line, with a whopping 2 platforms. Somewhere before the station was the Junction to Lambton Colliery, possibly curving off to the left through the gate. The colliery in question is currently surrounded by houses, so I assume the track bed has been completely covered over. The platform here is original, and the path splits to go around it, but you can also ride or walk over the platform too. Passenger trains apparently normally use the down road in both directions, and coal trains the up road. On the down end of the platform are the foundations of an old water tank. From here, the line runs mostly flat all the way to Belmont. We cross Cowlishaw Street, again with crossing gates. The crossings past Redhead use these inward bending death railings to control approach speed, but they are very prone to collisions and should ideally be replaced with a safer form of speed control. Culleroo Road sweeps in from the left, making this short section a bit noisy and unpleasant. It looks like there used to be a crossing here that's since been removed. We now cross Culleroo Road with more death railings. Right after the crossing, and at the 12-kilometre post, we arrive at Jules Station. This one has an original platform on the upside that someone has built a pump track on by the looks. The station closed in 1940 apparently, some 31 years before the other stations. A few hundred metres further is Jules Junction, where the branch to the John Darling Colliery branched off. It was planned to run this line on its own single track as far as Redhead, but this never happened and it was tied into the single track main line. After the 14-kilometre post, the line runs over a marsh to Belmont. The current path runs on a very bumpy boardwalk through here. Finally, we arrive at Belmont. The path has recently been extended further to blacksmiths, curving off to the left, hence the new concrete and big signs blocking the old route directly to the station. The 100-metre long platform is original, and the station included a loco runaround and a few freight roads as well. The park here is a bit weird with astroturf and pebbles, but I guess it's better than nothing. The last passenger service ran in 1971, but the line remained open until 1991, when the Lambton Colliery closed. The path was built in stages, opening finally to Belmont in 2011. If you want to ride the Fernley track on the former Belmont line, it starts at Adamstown Station. Some trains, particularly on weekends, run express to Wyong, then all stops to Newcastle, but if you want to save a bit of time, you can also ride directly from Broadmeadow, one stop further towards Newcastle, where all trains stop. It's about 30 kilometres return to Belmont from Adamstown, and it's a pretty forgiving and safe ride. If you'd like to see more cycling videos, not necessarily confined to old railways, please do let me know. Thanks to my members, and thank you for watching.